Let's vibe, let's roll, let's get it. Whoa, shawty showing out, throwing on the dance floor. Fashion killer, huh? You don't give a fuck what a nigga gotta say or a bitch, what?
Hey you guys, it's Naimahrae and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button to join the fam because we stay lit over here, you feels me, and if you're returning viewer. Hi, how are you guys doing on this very lovely day? I'm doing wonderful, thanks for asking. As you guys can tell by the title of this video, your girl is back with another story time. And I'm gonna be telling y'all, right? I'm gonna be telling y'all why I quit this job after 2 days, okay? But before I get started into the video, I want to say two quick things real quick. If you guys wanted me to continue my high school crush, like my longtime high school crush series, let me know. I'm gonna continue it anyways, but I just wanna know, are y'all ready for the next part now? So like, let me know in the comments down below if you guys are ready for that. Two, also, I've been kind of switching up my content on my channel a little bit as of recently. I don't know if you guys noticed. I've done like a vlog, girl talks, and a Q&A recently, and they all did really well. So if you guys want to see more content like that, let me know in the comments down below. Like, let me know other video ideas that you guys want to see me do, and I can kind of tailor my content accordingly. I don't want to keep blabbering and rambling, so we can just go ahead and get into the video. Before I get started, I want to say that I'm not going to say the name of this company, mostly because I do not want to get sued. I don't. So just know that you have heard of this company and it's a retail place, and that's all I'm going to say. Recently, I have been looking for a second job because I could really use the extra money. The holidays are coming up. I have a bunch of birthdays coming up. It would just be really helpful. So I went on like an applying spree, and you know, I just wasn't really getting called backs as fast as I would like to, and this and that, da da da. So this particular place sent an email and they were like, oh, we're having a nationwide hiring event. Just walk in, bring your resume, you get an interview on the spot. And I'm like, oh, well, this sounds great. Except for I don't want to work for that company. Now, look, y'all, this was red flag number one. If you do not, please take my advice. If you do not want to work for a company, do not apply unless you are on your last dollar and you are absolutely positively desperate and you are down bad. Do not apply, because I'm going to let y'all know right now. You're going to be miserable. You are, because you didn't want to work for the company in the first place. And granted, I'm not going to say maybe this isn't applicable to everybody, but I feel like it's very important. Okay, just wanted to say that. But I was like, I don't really want to work for this company. But look, I was very money motivated, and I was like, yes, okay, I'm just gonna go to the hiring event and see how it goes. So I go to the hiring event, right, you guys? I get there and it's empty. That's red flag number two. I should have cut and run, y'all. I should have cut and run. I should have ran out the door. I didn't. I was like, hi, I'm here for the hiring event. And the girl was like, okay, that's fine. And she's like, just fill out like the application right there. I was like, I already filled it out online, so do I still have to fill this out? And let me tell y'all, the girl's energy was very off. Like, she seemed like she was miserable. And I didn't take it to heart, because I was like, okay, maybe she's just having a bad day. You know, I'd be upset if I had to stand at the front of the door and greet everybody too. Like, I don't know. So she was like, let me ask. I was waiting. She was like, my manager just said, write your name down on a sticky note and your number, and she'll call you for an interview. And I was like, oh, okay. I did it, but I was kind of confused, because I'm like, the email definitely said it was interviews on the spot, and I was ready for an interview that day. But okay, whatever. They ended up calling me back. I scheduled an interview with them and everything. And honestly, you guys, going into this whole thing, like, my vibe for the whole thing is just really off. It's like, I don't know about this. Because like I told y'all, I said that I didn't really want to work for the company. And like, I guess, like, I don't know. It was just like the vibe was just off to me. Like, because the girl's energy was off for the hiring event. It was just like, you know, I go to the interview, right? I was actually running late, okay? I was like 2 minutes late, okay? I'm gonna be honest. I was 2 minutes late for the interview. So I get in there. I'm like, hi, I have an interview scheduled for so-and-so and blah, blah, blah. And the girl was like, oh, okay, give us a second. Like, I'll let the manager know. So she let the manager know. You guys, why did I wait for like a smooth, like 15 minutes after that? I'm like, bro, I was 2 minutes late. I was like, I know that I'm not entitled to your time, but you should have been waiting on me, because like, you know, like, I got stuff to do too. Like, I go through the interview, you know, and it goes pretty well. I guess it was like, I don't know, the interview was kind of off too. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. At the end of the interview, they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna hire you and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, I got hired on the spot, okay. So I'm like kind of excited. I'm like, okay, I got another job. But I wasn't really as excited as I should be. That's another red flag. I really was not feeling the vibe, you guys. And I know you guys are like, well, Naimah, if you wasn't feeling the vibe, why didn't you just decline the offer? Look, okay, it was very money driven, okay. Fast forward, it takes them forever to process my application. I was calling them. I was like, hey, like, is my application processed? Like, when can I start? It was like, oh no, it takes a minute for it to process. Like, call again next week. But they ended up calling me, got a date for my orientation. So boom, here we go, orientation day, right? I go in for orientation and I'm talking to the lady who interviewed me. She was actually really nice. Like, I like the lady who interviewed me. She was cool. She was nice, you know, she walked me through the store, told me everything that I needed to know. For the most part, she briefly kind of showed me over the register. She was like, but we're not really going to train you at the moment. It's like, whatever. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So she was like, all right, so I'm going to go on break and you can go on your break too. Which, let me go ahead and say this. The break was only 10 minutes. 10 minutes? What am I supposed to do with that? What am I supposed to do with 10 minutes? Like, huh? She was like, yeah, you go ahead and go on your break. And when you get back, just ask somebody like, hey, like, you know, ask if you could help process stuff. Because they had shipment and stuff. Mind you, also, when I went for orientation, I had to wait for a really long period of time before the manager came out. But I was letting them slide because they were in the middle of transitioning, like, the season. Like, in case y'all haven't figured out, this is a clothing store. They was doing mannequins. They was processing shipment. For those who don't know what that means they was putting out new clothes. They was unboxing and stuff like that. So they had a lot of stuff going on. And I was kind of thinking in my head, well, if that was the case, you probably shouldn't have scheduled orientation on this day. But it's fine. So she's like, yeah, just ask somebody if you can help process shipment and blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I take my little 10-minute break or whatever. I get off of it and like, she's still on break. She got a 30. So I'm like, okay. So I go into the stock room and I'm like, hi, like, this is where the store manager is and one of the leads, okay? We're going to call the store manager Lisa, okay? And then we're going to call the lead, I don't know. We're going to call the lead Pillow. I go in there, I'm like, hi, like, the lady who was giving me orientation, she told me like to come in here and ask you guys like if you guys need help processing anything. The lead, what did I name him? Pillow. He looks at me, and the manager, she looks at me, and the manager looks at me like, she gives me like this look, this specific look, y'all. She's like, find something for her to do. And I'm like, I could go home, okay? Because look, I thought orientation took like 2 hours and then you was out, okay? All the orientations that I have been to, I'm gonna be completely honest with y'all, it was never a full shift, okay? Orientation was literally like, you go in, you fill out paperwork, you know, they probably explain whatever to you, but it's not like a training day. Orientation is literally what it is. This orientation is like, oh, we're gonna give you your name tag, oh, you're gonna fill out this paperwork, oh, you might learn about this, you're probably gonna watch a bunch of training videos, but you're not actually going to be doing any work. I was scheduled for 4 hours this day, and they wanted me to stay the whole 4 hours for whatever reason. So I was just like, okay, whatever. I was like, I ain't like that. I ain't like the energy. I wasn't feeling the vibes, but you know, I let it slide. I was like, you know, maybe she just under a lot of stress. I'm gonna let it slide. I'm gonna let it slide. Shouldn't have let it slide, y'all. That was another red flag. I should have quit right then and there and walked out the door. The lead, Pillow, he looks at me. He's like, He was like, did she already walk you through the store and stuff? And I was like, yes. And he was like, okay, come on. So he's walking with me and we go downstairs and he drops me off. Like, he's kind of introducing me to people as like I go, but I didn't really meet that many people, if I'm being quite honest. And so he drops me off with this one guy who I'm gonna call, I don't know, Slide. He's like, here, Slide, you need help with the mannequins, here you go. And he walks away. He walks away, y'all. He just dropped me off and leave me like that. And Slide was like, no, I don't need help. Like, he didn't even, like, he was talking, but the guy had walked away already. He was like, I don't need help with the mannequins, I'm actually done. And he turns around and I'm just standing there. I'm like, hi. He's like, what's your name? I'm like, Naimah. And he was like, oh, okay. He was like, so did she already walk you through the store and stuff? I'm like, yeah. I was like, honestly, it's just orientation day for me. I was like, you could give me something really, really simple to do. That's perfectly fine. I didn't tell him that I didn't expect to be there that long, but I was just telling him like, look, just give me something simple to do. and call it a day, because I'm not about to sit here and go from person to person trying to figure out what I can do, when in reality I could just walk in the door and leave, okay, because y'all gotta clock me out anyways. He was like, okay, that's cool. He was like, you could do go back so you could kind of learn the store. I was like, okay, like that's fine, that's cool with me. Honestly, y'all, look, Slide, he wasn't that bad of a person either. Like, he was actually pretty cool. Really, the only people that I have problems with in the story time is Lisa and Pillow. Those are the two people, but I'm gonna let y'all know why. I'm gonna let y'all know why. Okay, I make it through orientation, okay, and then I go back for my first day. Why did I go back? Why? I don't know, because sometimes, you know, we do stupid stuff for money, okay? And you just shouldn't do it, you guys. Just don't do it. Like, if you don't want to work there, don't work there. I am trying to tell you guys from personal experience, do not be like me. First day comes, right? I go in there and I'm just like, bro, look, I'm just here to make some money, and that's it. Like, that's my mindset. So I go in and I'm like, hey, like, they wanted me to clock in at the register, but I couldn't because they were kind of busy and like all the registers were full. So I was like, okay, well, let me just like go to the office. So I go to the office. I'm like, hey, Pillow's there. He's the lead for the day. I'm like, oh God. So Pillow's like, hey, you clocking in? I was like, yeah, I actually need to clock in. He's like, okay, I'll just clock you in. He was like, can you go take so-and-so's position at the front of the door? Luckily, I knew the girl's name because he said her name. And I was like, luckily, I had met her on orientation day. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known who he was talking about. But like, she was at the front door. So like, common sense. So I was like, yeah, sure. He was like, can you go cover her break? And yeah, I was like, okay. So I get up there, the girl's super sweet. She's like, yeah, this is what I'm doing. Like, this is all you have to do, blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. Because she was processing shipment stuff too. So I was up there for a little bit. Then Pillow comes on the walkie. He's like, Naimah, where are you at? I'm like, I'm in the front. And he's like, okay, well, I need you to go upstairs and cover so-and-so shift. I mean, not shift, break. And I'm like, okay. So first of all, I didn't know if I was supposed to tell somebody I was leaving the front. I figured he kind of just knew. Because like, you know, like, you don't want to put me up though. So I just left. I go upstairs. Ain't nobody up there. Literally no one. And I'm just like, okay. So I didn't know if like, I kind of found the station, but I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing. So I saw some girl come out the break room. I was like, hi, are you so-and-so? Like, are you the one whose break I was supposed to be covering? She's like, I don't know. Okay, after that, I guess I had to censor some shoes. Honestly, didn't know what I was doing. I've never had to censor shoes before. I was just like, okay, well, you know, I was using context clues and figuring it out myself. And that's exactly what I did. And some lady came up off the elevator and I was like, hey, am I doing this right? Because like, I just want to catch her real quick. She was like, yeah, you're doing it fine. I was like, okay, cool. I was just making sure because I ain't never done this before. So I finished censoring the shoes and then I didn't know what to do after that. There was a box of clothes. So I was like, okay, well, let me go get some hangers and I'll just hang the clothes. So that's what I did. And then here he comes, Pillow on the walkie, talking about, Naimah, can you come downstairs and help so-and-so in the cell area? And I'm like, yeah, sure. I was actually happy because I didn't know what I was doing up there anyways. I go downstairs. There's this girl. I'm like, hey, are you so-and-so? Am I supposed to be helping you? She's like, no. So why couldn't you point me in the right direction? Hello? And so I'm like, okay. So I turn around and I see some other girl and I'm like, hi, are you so-and-so? She's like, yeah. She's like, can you just help me like make it look nicer over here? I was like, yeah, sure. So I'm helping her make things look nice or whatever. And literally after that, I was on my own. It's like he completely forgot about me. I did not get any direction whatsoever after that. And I had a lot of time to think about my life and how I was ready to quit this job. Like, honestly, that moment I realized, I was like, yep, this is going to be my last day because I can't do this. Like, I needed more structure. Not saying that I want somebody to micromanage me all the time, but I just needed more structure. And it was like, he expected me to know who people were. People weren't really being that helpful. Like, granted, don't get me wrong, there was a few people that were actually really friendly, they were really helpful, but for him to be a lead, he was not helpful at all. I'm looking at my phone, I'm like, okay, it's time for me to take my 10 minutes. And so I find him and Lisa, Pillow and Lisa, ironically, okay? I'm like, hey, can I go on my break? And Pillow's like, just send her. And I'm like, send me where? And he's like, oh, she need to go to the grocery store. And I'm thinking like, okay, it's like a team run or something, like they're getting snacks for the team because like it's the weekend, it's a busy day. And he's like, I was like, for what? And he's like, oh, she trying to make some spaghetti or something after she get off and blah, blah, blah. So she just need to pick up some stuff. And I'm just like, am I going to be able to carry all this on my hand? He's like, we'll give you some extra time on your break. And I was like, okay. And so she was like, you don't mind, do you? And I was like, I mean, I guess. And so she gives me this list, you guys. She literally gives me a freaking grocery list. Y'all, she gave me a grocery list to go grocery shopping for her while I was on the clock. And I was just looking like, this lady, what? Why are you a store manager? Why? And why are you talking about, I owe you lunch for this, thank you. Ma'am, what? Just so you guys know, okay, I didn't have to drive to a grocery store. The little area, it's like a little outlet thing that I work in, and it has a Publix in the little area, so like it's like walking distance and everything. But let me clarify to you guys that none of this stuff was stuff that I could hold in my hand. I literally go to the grocery store and I had to buy a reusable bag because it was too much stuff. And then the reusable bag practically broke my arm off. So not happy when I came back. I was not that happy of a person at all. I was like, okay. I was like, all right, this ain't it. It's not it at all. I come back, I'm like, here's your groceries. She's like, oh my gosh, thank you so much, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, yeah, whatever, Lisa, shut up. So then Pillow's like, come here, I need to talk to you. And I'm like, about what? Like, am I in trouble? And he's like, yeah. And I didn't know if he was being sarcastic or not. I'm thinking like, oh God, what did I do that's wrong? I haven't done anything all day. It's because I ain't say nothing when you stopped giving me direction, because you are the lead. Like, is that really my fault? That's what I'm thinking in my head. So we get on the elevator so I can go upstairs for my break, right? And he's like, tell whoever it is that's sucking on your neck to stop sucking on it. And I was blown back. I was baffled, confused. I was like, what? He was like, yeah, I knew you was walking a little weird and blah, blah, blah. Y'all, let me tell y'all why he said what he said. I had a very, very small hickey on my neck, like right here, okay? At the time, I had those long twists. I had a shirt that came up to like, probably like right here on. And it literally looked like I just scratched my neck way too hard. That's literally all it looked like. Like, for somebody to see it, you would literally have to like zone in like on my face and my neck area. Like, nobody said anything to me about it like the whole day. I asked my friends about it like once I left there that day, and they was like, bro, like he was just really staring at you like extra hard, because like it was not visible. And if it was, I would have saw it in the mirror and put makeup over it. I'm not stupid. Like, I'm a grown woman. Like, what? Come on now. He said that, and I was just like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, I didn't know anybody could see it. Like, you know, I thought that it was covered. Like, I was low-key kind of acted like I knew what he was talking about, but I kind of didn't really know. So I go on break and I call my boyfriend. I'm like, do you see something on my neck? He's like, no, but the signal's kind of bad. So I'm like, okay. So I'm looking in the camera. You could barely see it. Y'all, I was so freaking mad, bro. I was like, I'm ready to go home. I am. And I should have walked out after that, but I didn't. I ended up staying till close because that's when my shift was. And for the record, I had no direction when I came back from break, okay? I was literally floating around the store doing my own thing. Nobody told me the closing procedures. And then when I tried to help out with some of the stuff, I asked old girl if she needs some help with the hangers because she looked like she was struggling. I was like, oh my gosh, you need some help? Because I wasn't doing anything. And she, you wanna know what she said? Absolutely nothing. And I was like, okay. I was like, I guess you don't want help. And she was the same girl who low-key started getting attitudes with me when I kept asking her like where stuff went, because I was just doing callbacks. I finished that shift and then I quit. I didn't even work another day because I was like, I'm not about to do this. And I tried to respectfully quit by putting like my 2 weeks, not 2 weeks. I think it was like effective immediately. Yeah, I did one of those. And the store manager, Lisa, she was like, oh girl, you ain't have to turn in one of these. And then the lady who hired me, like she was sitting there. She was the first person that I saw when I went back there to give it to them. And she's like, oh, I can't take that right now. I'm on break. I don't care. You better take this notice. Bro, y'all, I was so ready to just be like, I should have just threw it down and been like, well, I quit. I'm done. yeah, that's pretty much the end of the story time. Like I said, moral of the story is, okay, moral of the story, do not work somewhere where you do not actually want to work, okay? If you are going to work somewhere, when you are in the interview process or even in the place, just see, like, if you get good energy from the people. And if you don't, that place is probably not for you, because you do not want to go to work every day and feel miserable. And that's exactly how I felt at that job. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure you guys leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe. I tried to keep it short, but it looked like it's kind of long. So I hope not. Make sure you follow me on all my social media, which is @naimahrae, always down in the description box down below. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.
I want a chick that grind on a 9 to 5. Oh, she in them college books trying to get a rise. But tonight, I'm just trying to have a good time.